There was an interesting graphic showing which NFL fan bases complains the most about referees. And they came up with this list based on...
That's interesting how they do it.
Fan bases in the stadiums, and then they went through a multitude of different social media platforms and how many people complain about refs. For example, tweets referencing refs and Cowboys would be used to determine how often Dallas fans complain about referees. They came to find out that the least complaining fan base was the Buccaneers, followed by the Falcons, Jaguars, Raiders, Panthers. There's a lot of crappy teams in the
I was just going to ask, so it's not correlated with...
It's not, because the Bengals, who are a losing franchise, are by far number one. The Saints are number two. They've been fairly successful. The Packers are number three. Vikings 4, Cowboys 5. That's another reason we hate the Cowboys. Browns, Jets, Colts, Titans, Texans, Steelers, Chiefs, Giants. Funny thing is, 4 of the top 5 fan bases are from the NFC. I don't know if that means anything. And so I thought that was really interesting because I'm a Bengals fan. And, of course, when things aren't going your way, you always want to complain about something. And when you've had so many number one draft picks and they fall apart, and the Bengals, the Paul Brown family doesn't know how to run a franchise. They don't care about winning Super Bowls. All they want to do is put butts in seats. That's the truth. If they win a Super Bowl, super. Good, we can sell more merchandise. But all they care about is selling out home games. That's all they care about.
Business.
It really is. If you could have a losing franchise and have no salary cap issues, and pack your house every single. That's why, when Aaron Rodgers leaves, the Packers go 0-16. They're going to sell out, right? And they're going to be happy with that because they don't have to put the money out for free agency, blah, 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 blah. And so I try to do the best I can not to complain. I know I do.
You don't
complain. All complain. We all complain about particular things. We bitch and moan about things on the show. Maybe bitch and moan is not the same as complaining. But I am around some people that seem like they always complain. And with complaining certainly comes a negative connotation where it's kind of like it's like the dark cloud person. It's like,
yes, exactly.
And listen, we go through tough times.
That's different than always complaining, yes.
But there's people that just can't seem to stop complaining. And for the most part, you look at their life and you're like, what do you got to complain about? You got it pretty good. Financially, you're set pretty good. You got a wife, you got kids, you're doing this, that, and you get to go on vacations. You got a good job. I mean, you don't have any major health issues, yet you're just a complainer. Why do you think that is? Why is that?
Well, I was going to say, because when we look at people's lives that are, or parts of their lives where things are truly difficult and tragic, we almost don't call it complaining, right? Because you're going through a tough time. So, things are a little rough. I'm going through a divorce. I've lost my job, whatever. We may say you have a dark cloud, like, dude, you got some bad luck, but then we don't consider it complaining. I mean, I think you make a really good point. We talk about complaining very often for people who complaining is talking about things that are not of major circumstance. Oh, they were rude to me here. I got an ache and pain. I don't like the way the traffic is. You know what I mean? We there's a difference between describing really bad things that are happening to me and the complaining to me is little bits. Oh, the food wasn't that good. I don't like the way this sticker looks. Sticker looks fabulous.
Thank you.
But that's complaining. I've told you, something I have to work on. I'm a complainer. How you doing today? Oh, I'm a little bit tired. I got this. I'm running late. Oh, I couldn't get out of the house. I mean, that tends to be my thing. It's my default. And I don't even use it. I don't even think about it in a negative way. I think a lot of us who are complainers, we don't even feel bad or upset. It's just kind of how we describe the world. And I do it at the gym all the time. I was thinking about this because this is one of the things that I'm trying to work on. I'm trying to it's not just to be more positive, because I think there's a difference between sort of thinking positive, which is good for us to do, but I'm actually trying to work on not putting out verbally as much negative stuff, even if it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm talking about, I was at the gym all the time. We're lifting with guys, talking about, my elbow hurts, or, like no one's putting their weights away, and we're laughing about it. Oh, look, this place is a pigsty. Well, then I thought about it the other day. I was like, okay, 50% of the words that come out of my mouth in this gym are not like, hey, that was great. You lifted, you put up 3. I'm just talking about, tripping over weights and all that kind of stuff. And I'm happy as a clam.
Yep.
but the energy that I'm putting out in my words is negative.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. You said it. There are people who will go like, okay, that's great. Okay, I just don't want to get around Klapow.
Yeah.
Because when Klapow's talking around, it's always positive. You've told me as a friend, look, dude, you just got to check it back in terms of what you're putting out there. And I think the reason that we complain is twofold. One, I think it's like a burp or a fart. It's just in our mind, and we're just like, oh, okay, I feel so much better.
That's a good analogy, yes.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the other thing is, it's almost as if it allows us, it gives us an excuse to not try to be optimistic about our lives. It's almost like joining the dark side. If I just complain enough and tell you about all the bad things, then I don't have to, then it's not on me, right? Then it's not on me to be happy. This is wrong and this is wrong and they got lines here and there's no food here. And when you do all that kind of stuff, then you can say, and I'm pissed off. You know, when reality is all these things are going on, but it's your job about to whether you're going to be happy or not happy.
It's true. And I will tell my kids, and that's what the great thing about kids, because by teaching kids and mentoring kids, you can fix yourself.
Absolutely.
I do the best I can not to complain or ever be down around my children because they've got enough going on and they don't need it. I can be real and I can get angry and I can get upset by particular situations if it's warranted. But for the most part, they're always going to see Dad happy. They're going to see that because they need to know everything's going to be okay, even when I know things are tough and, hanging on by your fingernails. So I try to do that. But whenever one of my kids complain, I'm like, okay, what are you going to do about it?
Yes.
How are you going to fix it?
Yes.
Give me you can complain about something, but how are you going to fix it?
That's right.
Is it something you can control? Can you stop going to that restaurant?
Right.
Or if you think our yard looks like shit, can you go cut the grass?
Yep.
Or if there's something that needs to be fixed, can you go fix it? Thank you for letting me know. How are we going to fix this?
Right, because then it's not a complaint. It's an observation.
Yeah, my 17-year-old son, who just stopped by a few minutes ago, love him like the salt of the earth. He's tired every day. Okay, well, why don't we go to bed earlier? I can't. Well, we need to change that.
Yes.
That's not something that changes overnight. Put your phone down and start going to bed earlier. The other thing I think it's really interesting is I think a lot of us complain based on who we surround ourselves around because misery loves company. Sometimes, man, it's good just to get around and have a common platform, just to
vent
bitch and
session.
moan, and I think fans are really good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Fans, you got 80,000 people around you that feel the same damn way about that referee.
And that's what I was
right
saying.
now.
That's different. Right? That's a giant fart.
Yeah. There's
huge burp.
There's plenty of room to complain.
Right.
About
and with the referee, this is what we love about sports.
Yep.
So this is what's really good about sports. It gives us a socially appropriate way to direct our frustration, right? I paid for this. I'm going to yell at you. Yep. And then
we were at the UAB game on a Saturday, and they won decisively. They won by 14. They were down 21-7. The guy behind me was one of these guys where he was talking through the game like he was calling the game. Oh, he's going to run around the right side. Looks like he got about 3 yards. Look like about 3 yards. I'm seriously, if I've had the radio on, it would sound, but he was so derogatory and so negative. They're in trouble. They're in trouble right now. This team, they're at 14. What are they doing? This is not the team that I came to support. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude. I'm sitting there nudging Santo. I'm like, this guy. Everything was so dramatic and over the top. He was sitting there with his wife, who didn't say a word for 3.5 hours. I don't know what she thought during the whole thing. I'm like, dude, this is not the guy.
She's hoping he gets it out of his system.
And he was wrong half the time. Yeah, it's 4th and 5, and it was 4th and 1. I'm like, and it was comical. It was kind of funny, but sometimes I think it's easier sometimes to complain about things when you're around a complainer.
Oh,
and I always find myself feeling a lot less stress and feeling better to get away from that person. The other thing I think that is part of this, and you could probably expound on this, is complaining hereditary, or is there a genetic disposition for being a complainer? Because I know people that are around negative parents, they have a lot of yelling, screaming, this, that, and the other as they grow up, and you can sense that in those kids.
So there's clearly a learning history, right? So there's a generational impact. Mm-hmm. Whether it's genetic, I don't know, but clearly how you've been, what's been modeled to you, what you've observed, absolutely has an impact. I mean, again, we kid about it. We kid about it as Jews kid about it. We're always complaining.
Yeah.
Something's always wrong, right? It's never right. Oh my God, they didn't fix this. The food's not too good. And we always kid us because we were in the desert. Hell, in the desert, they tell the biblical story. What did that? The Jews are going to go to the promised land. And after about whatever, well, it depends on things, somewhere between a week and 10 years, they're like, there's no meat. What the hell? Like, we thought there was going to be meat here. And historically, stereotypically, Jews are known to complain.
Yeah.
It makes us feel better about the world because we're complaining. So absolutely, there is how you've grown up, what you've seen. If your family openly complained, then as a child, you're looking around and you're like, okay, Now, I'm going to put just a little twist on it because I think you have to be careful about something. You're very good at this. My wife is good about this. There is a difference between not complaining and just bearing all of any of your distress.
Yeah.
Right? So it's all good.
Yeah.
When I see people say it's all good, sometimes it's all good. But if you're running around telling yourself it's all good and you know it's not all good, now you're just creating a defense. You're just packing it down.
Well, and in most cases, when I say it's all good, I'm working on whatever it is that I need to complain about. I'm just not being outwardly about it.
Yes, which is okay. But I know you. But I also see people that, that I'm just blessed.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's how you really feel, fine. But if you're saying it and there's a whole lot of junk underneath it, then saying it 100 million times will not fit. Well, it's to your thing about the. If there's all these bad things going on in your life and you're saying, well, I'm just blessed. It's all good. It's all good.
Grin and bear it.
You can't. You know what happens? It eats you up from the outside and from the inside. Yep. So to your point, don't grin and bear it. Say it's all good and then get out and cut the grass.
Yeah.
Or go to therapy or go see your doctor or fix your relationship. So I think that part is good. Absolutely. People's verbal expression of what's going on in their head. I've had this conversation with my wife 1,000,000 times because I'll ask her because I'm a complainer and I'm a verbal complainer. Oh my God, this is terrible. I can't get the computer to work, etc. And I asked her one time, I'm like, don't you get frustrated?
Yep.
I've said this. Sometimes I say to you, what the hell's the matter with you? You're so damn positive. What is wrong? And you know what she'll say? And I think you do the same thing. Sure, I get frustrated. Sure, I don't express it. I'm dealing with it here.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference. I think that people who are complainers, it's not always that they're negative. It's that they're just speaking their mind. And it's to your point. After a while, people around you are like, okay, like, tuck that shit in. Like I don't need to hear about your grass.